How you guys doing?
Okay, so we're here with Ryan Coogler. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so could you just tell us, for the audience who don't know, a little bit about Creed?
Oh, okay. Yeah, Creed is it's a boxing film. That it's been out for about a week now. National release. It takes place in the Rocky universe, and it follows the son of Apollo Creed. His name is Adonis Johnson, played by Michael B. Jordan, who's a guy who's about around 30 years old, who's been fighting almost kind of part time, and decides to take on boxing full time before it's too late. And he moves to Philadelphia and tracks down his father's rival turned friend, Rocky Balboa, played by Sylvester Stallone. And the film also stars Tessa Thompson and Felicia Rashad. And it's a movie in the Rocky tradition, but I think it's something that's very current and fresh.
Yeah, definitely. So why did you want to revitalize the entire Rocky series?
Oh well, it wasn't revitalization of the series as much as for me it was just inspired to tell this particular story from my relationship with my dad. He was a Rocky fan, which kind of made me a Rocky fan, and he got sick around the time that I was finishing up film school, getting ready to make Fruitville. Kind of came up with this take on the film, and I called my buddy Aaron Covington, who I went to film school with here at USC, asked if he wanted to write it with me, and then we got going like that. But it was really inspired by my relationship with my father first and foremost.
So in that case, did you always have Adonis's story in mind, or did you think you were going to kind of take off a different Rocky character?
Nah, yeah, I think Adonis was kind of always the way in. I think to this story, and we went through different iterations of who the character was, but him being a descendant of Apollo Creed was always the idea, and him being the protagonist of the film, with Rocky as a character that's kind of works in supporting fashion.
So then, when you had to kind of present this movie to Sylvester Stallone, did you think he was definitely going to be on board right away, or how did that process happen?
Oh nah, man, I figured he wouldn't want to do it. It was one of those things where you go on the pitches, man, and it's so rare that people say yes to what you're talking about. In this situation, I was asking him to bring this character, knock the dust off this character that was kind of he felt was done in his mind. He made a Rocky movie called Rocky Balboa in 2006, I believe, and I was kind of him putting the character to rest, creatively, and so I was asking him to bring it back, and saying that I would direct it, which was kind of a far-fetched idea at the time. So I didn't expect him to say yes. It took him a while to come around.
Okay. So then, what was it like when he did say yes? And then, what was the dynamic on set, almost, since he had been working with the character for a while, and then you were relatively new to it?
I would say the dynamic on set was great. Like I say, my colleague Aaron and I wrote the screenplay, but Sly was a producer and he was an actor. So he was around in the writing process, giving notes and giving perspective and advice, but he really kind of handed it over to us. And then on set, obviously he's a producer on the film, but on set he was an actor, first and foremost. So working with him was great, man. We had a great collaboration, and we used his experience with the character as a resource,
So how did he kind of come into play with the more physical fighting scenes? Because I'm sure that was a little bit different than the more humanistic, character building scenes. Was that difficult?
You talking about Sly?
Yeah.
Well, Sly's not fighting.
But was it nice to kind of have his perspective as a producer?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because he made all those boxing movies, man. He's made boxing movies in addition to the Rocky ones,
right?
And in a lot of those, he did the choreography. So in this, he was very adamant that we take that part of the fighting serious. I mean, not that part of the fighting, but that part of the filmmaking, serious. And he definitely, wanted to know what our plans were with each one. to the point that he felt like he could step back, you know. And so and he was always around because he was in those scenes, you know. So when he would see something and he'll have an idea, he'll put me to the side and we'll talk about it, you know what I mean? And he always had great ideas and great perspective, you know. So you know, it was a team effort.
And if I was paying close enough attention to the movie, you have one of the fight scenes where it's almost entirely one take. Is that correct? What was it like choreographing that?
Oh, it was fun. You know, I worked with a stunt coordinator, Clayton Barber, and I had, you know, obviously Michael was playing one of the roles, and then we had a professional boxer named Gabriel Rosado, who's from Philadelphia, you know, playing that other role of Leo Sperino. And we shot it at Temple University. You know, right there in their music hall, filled it up with extras. You know, but for like 3 weeks in advance, we were working on all the fights and pre-vision them. You know, learning the choreography, and that's when we kind of decided that we would take this approach with this fight, and the guys just started working at it, man, to the point that they learned it. And then we had our camera operator, who's using the Steadicam in that scene, kind of building our setups. And we wanted to attack it like a scene, you know. You had close-ups, you had singles, you had overs, you had 2 shots. I mean, the scene starts with a single on the ref that then becomes like a 5-shot, you know, and then it becomes an insert on their hands, you know. So that's one thing that you want to try to do when you do one-ers or moving masters, like I was taught about them here at the school. You know, you want to make sure that the camera is in the right place at the right time, giving you what you need. You know, you don't want to just kind of just do it for the sake of doing it. Right. You still want to tell a story and make it dynamic. It. Yeah, absolutely. And we all worked together to do that, man. It was really like, you know, everybody kind of coming to the table, figuring out the best way to execute it with you know, with our whole crew. It was one of the funner days.
That's awesome. Yeah. So this is your second film with Michael B. Jordan. What was that like, kind of working with him again? Did you always have him in mind for the character?
Yeah, because the movies came together kind of, you know, the idea for Creed, you know, and getting fleshed out kind of came around the time that I was getting ready to make Fruitvale. Okay. So I had gotten close with Mike, and we became working together, and so he was the natural choice for this role too. Definitely. You know, yeah.
So how did you kind of interact for the first time to get him on Fruitvale? Did he audition, or did you reach out to him?
I wrote the script for Fruitvale. We went to the Sundance Labs. I came back from the labs, rewrote the script, and then went to Mike. You know, okay. I kind of had him in mind, but we hadn't met yet. So then we you know, we reached out to his agents, and then he and I met, sat down, talked. You know, and we vibed, and then I sent him the script, and he read it, and then, you know, hit back and said he wanted to do it, and then we got to work.
Oh, that's awesome. So then, like, the rest is history after that.
I guess so. Yeah. A very brief history.
Well then, one thing also that I really wanted to ask you was, something you've said before was that a filmmaker's greatest tool is humanity. Why is that so important to you?
Oh, to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's important to all filmmakers, man. That's what we you know, that's what I mean, look, I mean, that's what people kind of long for. That's why people tell stories and listen to stories. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird world where you kind of locked in your own body and your own consciousness. But any opportunity you get to tap in to other people's, you know, whether it's fictional characters or whether it's real people, it's always what makes stories exciting. What makes you want to go to the movies. What made, you know, human beings sit around the campfires and listen to the first stories. You know what I'm saying? True. So I think that with filmmakers, when we can tap into what makes us unique, all the weird stuff that makes us, you know what I mean, that makes us us. You know, that's when you can get the best stuff.
Okay.
You know?
So then, when you're writing your scripts, do you feel like it just kind of naturally comes out, or is it something that you really have to explore with the characters that you're writing?
Yeah, you just work, man. Like, you know, like writing this screenplay was fun, man, because Aaron, he came up to the Bay Area and, you know, lived with me and my fiance for, how many months was that? Like 5-6 months. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and so, you know, you talking about half a year, man. When we trying to break this thing, you know what I'm saying, and get to the bottom of it, and I mean, it kept changing all the way up to the point that we shot it. You know, it would change on the day sometimes.
Oh, wow.
You know, So yeah, it's one of those. It's a weird thing where you constantly trying to find it. For me, that's
Okay.
how I work at least.
Yeah,
you know.
definitely. And so you said the two of you had met at USC Film School.
Yeah.
Again, we have a huge film audience. So what do you think was your greatest takeaway from USC Film?
Oh, the people I met for sure.
Okay.
I mean, there's no question. You know, it's the people that I met, the collaborators, the friendships that were formed. You know, that was the thing that you couldn't get any other way, really. You know, Aaron I met at orientation.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was first day of orientation. You know, we met. You know, developed a friendship from there, and a few other people that I collaborated with, I met. You know, under similar circumstances in school. You know, my composer, who I worked really closely with, very close friends. You know, he did the music for pretty much everything I've ever done. He did the music,
wow.
did the music for Fig. You know, did the music for my 508 Locks, and did the music for Fruitvale. Did the you know music for this. We in the process of starting a company together. You know, and I met him here. You know, I met him. He was living in Frat Row, like a fraternity. A fraternity had gotten suspended.
Oh, really?
For a year for something that they done, and so for that year, the people that owned the building were renting it out to other students. You know, they were renting out these real small, like dorm style houses, and Ludwig was fresh from Sweden.
Okay.
He was in the film composing school and was living there, and when Aaron and my buddies was also living there, and I met Ludwig like that. You know, we became buddies, and he just happened to be insanely talented. You know, so then,
it just worked out for both
of you. Yeah, it worked out. Yeah, so you know, that's the biggest thing is the people that you meet. You know, and the people that you get to learn, who you like to spend time with, who you enjoy collaborating with, who brings out the best in you artistically. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And so, I guess, what advice would you have for like young filmmakers right now who are like trying to get to where you're at? Because you've had so much success at like such a young age, also.
Oh, I appreciate that. I would say just make as much stuff as you can. Like don't make stuff that you think other people will like. You know, make stuff that you would like. You know what I mean? Make stuff that you will want to see, and stuff that makes you learn more about yourself. You know what I'm saying?
So like going back to the work that you've had and like with what you just said, you had Fruitvale, which definitely had like more of an independent like budget, and so you kind of had a little bit more freedom, I would say. But then going to Creed, where it was a bit more of a blockbuster level, do you think it was hard to kind of incorporate your vision, switching from those two backgrounds?
I mean, yes and no. You know, like I think I mean, I worked with MGM and Warner and New Line, eventually Warner Brothers on this movie, which was studio. But with Fruitvale, I was working with a production company. You know, which is kind of like playing that role.
Right.
It's always somebody who's paying for it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, unless you're able to pay for it yourself, which is you know, for my situation,
it's difficult.
It's impossible. Yeah. So. I think that you're always going to be in a situation where people will have notes and have ideas, and you know, and then you fight with, you know, with I had more freedom on Creed financially. I had more time. I had more days. You know, it was shots that I wanted to do, and on Fruitvale I just couldn't do. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have the resources. You know, but I was able to do that kind of stuff on Creed because we had them. So I mean, I think it's a give and take in every situation. You know, you never get total artistic freedom under any circumstance. You know, but I think that I'm fortunate enough to be able to write you know, screenplays and sort out, you know, perspectives and certain things that I want to do from a you know
definitely,
you know, in a pre-production phase, which helps, you know.
All right, well, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Yeah,
that's all the time we have for today, but thank you so much for tuning in to our final episode of See You at USC, and make sure to like us on Facebook for updates on when we will be back in the spring. Thank you, and have a nice night. Fight on.
That was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
guest relations.
All right, audio check.
That's okay. There wasn't really much guest relations.
Start talking.
Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Cropp. We're going to try to figure out how to do a 15-minute episode tomorrow. That'll be fun. What's everyone doing tonight after this? You should sleep.
I have paper and I'm buying booze.
I have lots of things to do. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Catherine, you should do like
Yeah?
a farewell. Take up like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, what do you mean? Desi could interview me.
Oh, that'd be cute.
I don't have nothing to talk about. Let's not do that.
Season, babe.
The highlight was what you just saw.
Because you wanted to fuck him? I'm kidding.
Anyway, what? Stop, I hate you. On this episode of See You at USC.
Yeah, hey, I need something quick. Ready to go.
Oh, shut up. Gosh, everyone hates you. Ugh. He had like quite the entourage. It was lovely.
Getting ready.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're really cute.
Oh, are we going? Sorry. Welcome to our final episode of See You at USC for the season. I'm Catherine Cropp, and normally I'm behind the camera, but tonight I have the honor of interviewing Ryan Coogler, USC SCA alumnus and director and writer behind, oh my gosh, that was bad. Can I do that again? Thanks. Thanks, Richard. That's never going to die.
Talk about how much we love Creed.
Yeah, oh my gosh, we should interview loyal fans. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome to our final episode of See You at USC for the semester. I'm Catherine Cropp, and normally I'm behind the scenes, but tonight I have the honor of interviewing Ryan Coogler, USC SCA alumnus and the writer-director behind Fruitvale Station and Creed. Stick around because it's an episode you're not going to want to miss.